What it is with the best podcast in Long Beach. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy JR. Do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. And why don't you just go ahead and give us a like? And let's get started with this week's episode.
Órale, como it's me, Little Hater. And guess what, Doug? This podcast is brought to you by Tapatio Nuts. You had me at hola. So go out and get some of these nuts. These Tapatio nuts. What it is. Podcast.
There he is, Little Hater. You know what? The Tapatio Nuts guy, Little Hater doing his thing, man. I love Little Hater. He's always out there doing great things. All right, guys. So let's get down to it. We have a very special guest. You know what? And he's backstage, but we're gonna bring him on. Let's bring him on.
Hey man, what it is, right?
What it is. You got it right. That's cool, man. Listen, man. This is my good friend, Sancho Sanchez, and he does comedy. I met him in person. He was a very small guy. He made me feel like welcomed into like the whole comedy thing, and I was just a random dude just walking up to him like, "Hey, man, I want to get into comedy," and he was like, "You'll get there, buddy. You'll get there." So he's a really cool guy, man. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
I thought he was a cholo, man. Yeah, my name is Sancho Sanchez. I'm a comedian. I'm out of Long Beach. I'm from LA, man. Boyle Heights originally, El Sereno, those types of areas. Been living in Long Beach now like 19 years. Love it down here. Started doing stand-up a few years ago before the pandemic. Pandemic didn't stop me. I kept going, whatever, fucking parks, backyards, garages, all that stuff. And now I'm just out there grinding. You'll find me anywhere from LA, North Hollywood to Riverside, just wherever I could find little gigs and stuff. And sometimes I do shows. Right now I'm looking for another venue. But yeah, it's great to be on the podcast, bro. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's we've been trying to get this done for like well over a year now, right?
Yeah. We were just talking about that. You got to get out more, bro.
I'm starting to. I made it out to my first like official like comedy thing. What was it? Like a month or so ago, I got to see Sebastian Satina for the very first time.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I got to see Charles Sanchez.
Yeah.
He was doing his character there, and I was very impressed. And then I got to see what's up?
Bruce's?
No, it was at Harvell's actually in Long Beach.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a nice little venue. I'm like, hey man, I like it. It's right down the street from my house. I like it.
Yeah, it is. I literally walked down. I've done that a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, and then actually, I met you right down the street, and you yourself host a whole bunch of comedy events, right?
Yeah, I was did my first one where we met, but then after that, I did 6 months last year at the Harbor, which is right there on Pine, across from Alegria, Sevilla, right next door. And but they changed managers, so I'm looking for a new venue. I'm trying to get one place going right now, but they're just kind of dragging their feet. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw your postings on the Harbor, and I was like, I'm gonna go, but then I never went. And then recently I started going back out, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready. It's I think I'm ready to start hitting the open mics again.
Right
start getting my feet wet. And Little Hater says that he wants to go to, and he wants to do his thing. So I can't wait to see how he does.
How's that vato doing, man? How's that vato doing?
Well, you know what? He's doing his Tapatio Nuts thing, dancing around on the Whittier sign, dancing in the beach, making his own podcast, doing his own taco things. He says he's gonna take over the
he's in the game, man. The dude's blowing up. I see him.
Yeah, he's doing stuff, man. Oh man, so how'd you get started into comedy, brother?
Let's see. So this is a weird story, but I'll try to make it quick. But I always wanted to do stand-up because I was always funny as a kid, right? I used to crack people up to the point where people would tell me that, like as a little, like third grader, you should be a comedian. Sixth grader, you comedian. Junior high, and then in high school, maybe not as much. But then it was just like, you you graduate life and shit. And then I remember seeing like open mics, like back in the day, I'd see like Rudy Moreno and, what's his name? These other guys, who are out there now, who've been around, and I'd see them, they were like just coming up. And I would always go like, man, I should try that. I should try that. But I never had the balls, bro. I never had the balls. So then fast forward 20 plus years. And then I took a coaching, like a life coaching thing. And I thought, this is the most ridiculous shit ever. I don't know what, my boss wanted me to go to it and he paid for it. So I said, okay. And I thought, let's just see what this bullshit is. And I thought like, this isn't for me. I mean, I felt I had my shit together, but I'll just tell you, it was great. It unlocked a lot of shit in my head to the point where I said, you know what? I'm going to try stand up. And 2 weeks later, next week, I went down to an open mic down the street here. 2 weeks later, I came back 5 minutes, and then I never stopped since. I've never done anything in my life that I've continued to do, because I've tried all kinds of fucking hobbies. I'm sorry for cursing. A lot of hobbies, a lot of, just all kinds of things, a lot of interests. And I lose interest in 6 months.
Yeah.
I one time tried scuba diving, and I don't even know how to swim.
That's a joke within a joke, right?
Yeah. So comedy fits me. It's just perfect for me. It's creative. The writing, I love the writing aspect of it, the performing, and no, it's great because you just get, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. I'm just checking more and more boxes, but just the whole. I mean, if you're not creating, it's, to me, you're not really living. To me, that's like, we're all creators, but like we're like stifled in some way. We were told we can't do it, or we told ourselves. That's really where it comes. So that's how I got into it. Just more being empowered to fucking do it, and I did it. Man, I keep cursing. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? You're doing a lot better than my other guest, man. I had this one guy, and I swear I was like, "Is your name Tony Montana?" Because every other word was the F word. I was like, "Dude." And then after he had been cussing for 30 minutes straight, he's all like, "I'm sorry, can I cuss?" I'm like, "Well, come on, Vato, you already did it for 30 minutes." But no, it's all right, man. You know what? We're not at the point where it's a thing. Anyways,
violation.
Yeah, exactly right. This is free content, man. It costs you nothing. So yeah, man, I totally understand you, man. Because before I started doing my YouTube tacos and workouts, my neighbor, he's an actor.
Okay.
And he does acting and stuff like that. And then he told me, "What do you want to do?" And I told him I want to be a comedian. And he's like, "Then do it." But I was always scared. I was like, "Nah, I'm not." And I go, I know I could do something. He's like, "Then do it."
Yeah.
I kid you not. I told him I wanted to be a comedian, and I wouldn't shut up about it for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then my friend moved out, right? Because of gentrification. So he moved out of Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to move out too, because they kicked me out of my the apartment, right? Because it got sold. So then I moved into my new place. 3 years living in my new place. Started tacos and workouts. After started tacos and workouts, somehow it just one day it snapped. Something in my head just snapped, and I did my open mics, and yeah, it was like, and then the world closed down, and then here we are.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Good for you. That's awesome. That's a great story. Yeah, because the whole like getting started, it's just for me it was I never got started. I didn't have that until this coaching that just got something in my head, and that's the hardest part, is just getting the whole thing about it was it's about becoming a man of my word and a man of action.
Yes.
That's it. It's just, so I can't like tell you, oh, I want to do this, I'm thinking of doing this. That language doesn't exist in my world anymore. I either do or I don't. That's it. And I just am. I don't worry. Oh, I mean, I'm not saying I don't worry. Sometimes I do, because it's a natural thing, our minds, but I don't let it consume me. I don't let it bother me. I don't let it hold me back.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I'm the same way. Like even when I went for my first open mic, I was actually, what encouraged me was that everyone was doing so badly, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm serious. It's like I sat right next to a guy, and I told him, "Hey, he goes, "Are you a comedian?" I go, "No, but I wanna try it out." And he had a notepad, and he was writing stuff down, and I go, "Are you a comic?" And then he's like, "Yeah." But he was like really cocky. right?
Yeah,
And I was thinking, damn, this guy must be like a professional. He must
real
be really
good.
good, right? So then like I'm a, like a little kid, literally go, well, can I go on after you? And he starts laughing like, ho, okay, I'm gonna embarrass you, kid. You don't want to do that.
Hmm.
And then I was like, well, I'm gonna sign up anyway, right? He
Yeah.
goes up with his notepad and he's trying to say his jokes, right? And he's just like bombing big time, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's laughing. Everyone's like kind of like, boo, get off the stage, right?
Yeah.
So I said, well, if he did that, I could do that too, right?
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
then I go, well, I'm like, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. So I went up there and I said my 2 3 minutes, whatever,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
then when I got off, there were a couple of applause, nothing big, nothing major, right?
Yeah.
He walks up to me and goes, "Hey man, you did a good job." And I'm like, "Thank you." And he goes, "But you cheated."
How?
And I'm like, "What?"
How?
He goes, "You knew what you were gonna say." And I was like, "Aren't you supposed to memorize your jokes? Like, aren't you like, it's like."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, man, that's not cool, man. You're supposed to like,
Riff.
like what
Riff. Like
is
just
that?
off the
Yeah,
cuff.
after
Yeah.
the yeah."
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, but you yourself didn't do that. You like you went out on your notepad.
Yeah.
So it's a trip. So and then I realized like, man, this comedy thing is a little competitive and a little out there. But I definitely want to do it some more.
Yeah. 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 Where was that at, and where did you go to Mike's at?
Roxanne,
Oh yeah.
I performed there twice.
It's going on again.
Yeah, man, phew, I can't wait to
Nice.
get started. I have a whole bunch of stuff like already ready to go. I just need to practice it.
Yeah, come down. It's a good. Her name is Shy. She does it, and it's been. Sometimes it's like mediocre, and sometimes it's well attended. It's a good little mic. I've done it a few times. It's really good. I like it because I could double up with some other mics, like, and without spending my all night out, like till midnight and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, come down. Yeah, you know where it's at, and you're in Long Beach, right?
Hmm.
I hope so. With that, well, you got an East Los hat. I thought it said Long Beach. And East
Yeah,
Los
tacos.
representing East Los tacos. All right.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, yeah.
Have you ever been to East Los Tacos? It's a good spot.
No, I haven't. Mm-mm.
Oh, we'll go there one day.
Right on. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, man. So what kind of comedy do you do? Like, what's your style? Do
That's
you
a great
riff? Do you go
question.
after the crowd? What do you
That
do?
that's the hardest question to answer. I guess it's still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. People ask me. That's like the number one question. Like people say, "So what kind? How's your comedy?" And it's like, just come out and see me. That's all I can say, and you figure it out. I don't know. It's just. I mean, I have jokes about my name, Sancho Sanchez. I got, about, Mexicans. Just any topic. Just I come up with things. I make stuff up. Just make stuff up. I made a story up about my tío and struggling with technology. That was what the germ of it, and it's a very funny. I gets a good response all the time. I'll just say that. But it's yeah, I really don't know. I don't. Then that's part of the thing that I read about when you're first starting out was finding your voice, right? And by voice meaning like who you are. Like for example, if you think of somebody um, Lewis Black, right? He's angry and pissed off, or Mitch Hedberg, just kind of this like nervous bohemian guy, hippie almost, and so they have this identity, and some comics show it more than others. They kind of fit into a box. But ultimately, you develop this voice, Jim Gaffigan. You just know what his jokes are going to kind of be in a style. So it's just a work in progress. I think some jokes that I do now, I mean, obviously I want to keep writing more and more content, but I've already seen like there's jokes that I wrote 2 years ago that uh, that I would never use now. They were funny, they were funny, but I just wouldn't. They don't really fit. They were like
Yeah.
pay for the time, but so I'm just evolving, and I haven't. I can't really describe it. I couldn't give you a word. I'll tell you one thing. I'm heading more in an edgy direction. Not super edgy, but more of a attitude. Yeah, and I think that's where I'm getting more laughs that way, because even some of the material I've had, just by delivering it with more of an attitude, I get better reaction. So that's kind of where I'm heading.
Yeah. I totally understand, man. And you know what? I when I first started doing the the few that I did, right? I
Yeah.
started doing like bubblegum comedy. Like I tried to make it like, like clean,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
So I came up and I just because I was like out doing my I started doing my jokes like to my family members and stuff, and they're like, dude, you suck, right? Like like I love my family, but they're brutally honest, and sometimes they're like, I tell them, hey, watch my show. They're like, I'm not gonna watch you.
Yeah.
You're my brother, bro. I ain't gonna watch you. They support me, but they don't
Yes,
support me.
exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
they support you, man.
So yeah, so I was doing my jokes for them, and he's all like, yeah, you're kind of funny, but I don't know, you're not. And then I started doing my raunchy thing, and
Yeah.
people really gravitate to the raunchiness. It's just
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Some people do. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's the family. It's all like, they see you through a certain lens, and then there's a comparison too. Like you said, they support you, but there's this comparison because they've heard comedians all their life, professionals on television, on HBO, Netflix, their favorites, and then suddenly they see you and they compare them, and you're not there yet. So they think like they see they see where you're at, and somebody who doesn't know you comes in like, hey, that's pretty funny. They have a different perspective. It's
yeah,
completely real. Yeah.
yeah. It's funny because I think like I got into a thing with I think my brother when I had like 100 subscribers, just like, oh, you're not that great, like
Yeah. Hmm.
but now that I have a lot more subscribers, just like, oh, your show's awesome now, and I'm
Yeah.
all like,
Oh, of course.
I'm like, it hasn't changed. But the only thing that changed is that now people are starting to like subscribe to the channel. But nah,
Sure.
man, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny with sport like that.
So who are your favorite comedians?
Yeah, so that's another common question. I love. I'll give you a few. I like a variety for sure. They don't all fit into one box. Like I love Louis C.K. I've always thought he's one of the funniest. Tom Segura, I just saw him. Pablo Francisco, we were just talking about that, how he's going to be there in Whittier. Pablo makes me cry. Bill Burr, older ones like Patrice O'Neill. You know, who else? I mean, of course, you go way back, George Carlin, just all kinds. I mean, I just find, I like Jeselnik, who's dark, and I like Gaffigan, who's like, very clean and safe. I like them, and all in between.
Yeah, man, I like what's his, you just said his name and I just forget it. Jeselnik, right?
Yes, yeah,
Oh man,
he's dark. Yeah.
yeah, I like them. He the whole the horse, they call him Superman, right? Or
No.
whatever. No, call them Hero, right?
Forget.
I was like, damn, dude. And you know what I like about him? That
Hmm.
his style of comedy is like he starts one way and it's going some way, and then bam, he takes you
Oh,
to another place, and it's
oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
it,
Misdirection, and
yeah,
his timing and presence are like, he just stands there, man. Sometimes I think, because like there's comic cliches, like you know what I mean. People, we do that. Just it's like you get the crowd reaction. You know what I mean. We say certain cliches that come out of all comics say, but then I think like I got to stop saying that because with Jeselnik, no, he doesn't. He has that presence about him. He's in control, and the best comedians they don't resort to those types of things. And so it's why you got to watch comedy. That's what it annoys me when I hear that some comedians who are on my level, wannabes, we're trying to get there, right? We're working at it. They say, "Oh, I don't watch comedy," or I don't go to shows to see guys. I'm like, what? Like, how did, how can you be, like, you know what I
like
mean?
yeah, we like we're not craft, but we don't support the craft, so it's like
Yeah, yeah. It's
we're not helping it grow,
important,
right?
but learning, man. You watch, you watch these guys. Watch the headliner at your local show. You'll learn something. There's something about it. Sebastian, you brought up Sebastian Satina. I learn from him all the time, man. He teaches me. He's awesome. He's an awesome guy. But that's what you got to do. You have to learn by watching. You can't just say, I'm going to be an actor, and you can't not watch movies.
Yeah, man, I totally get it, man. And it's not as easy as people think. And you know what? Sometimes some people I met a couple of comedians that they were, how can I say this? They thought they were a lot better than they actually were.
Yeah.
Like, have you met people like that? How do you deal with that?
it doesn't mean anything to me. I can't give you an answer because to me it just doesn't. I mean, I've met people like that, yeah, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It just doesn't. It doesn't bug me because I know people. Yeah, yeah, it drives people crazy when they, oh my god, this person, that person, and it just becomes, then that you become consumed by it, and you
Hmm.
say, oh, you've heard people say, I don't give a shit, and then, well, why are you talking about it,
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
me, I just don't doesn't register anymore. It just I notice it, but it just no, it's just wasted energy. So nah,
Most definitely. I
yeah,
totally agree with that. And then I think I was talking to somebody and they said, "Oh, this guy's been doing comedy for so long, right?"
hmm
And he hasn't achieved or get to where he was at. And I was
yeah,
like, "Okay, well, what obviously he's funny, but what is he doing?" And
sure,
then I was thinking, okay, he's concentrating too much on like that, like spending his energy on that.
yeah,
It's and for me it's like um I can't wait to get out there to start doing my thing.
hmm
But the cool thing about comedy, that I think the number one thing that I like is that I look at it like every comic is kind of like a drug, right? It's like we go there for one reason, because
hmm
laughter is like a drug. It's
sure,
like energy, and
yeah,
it makes you feel good, right?
yep,
And the thing about these comedians, everyone's like a little different drug that they give you, and you feel
yeah,
different, whatever. And that
good
and
analogy,
and everybody, is their own little drug, and they make you feel good, and that's what's awesome about comedy. And I recently started getting into somebody told me about what's his name, the man in the moon, what's his name, do you know who
and,
I'm talking to? Yeah,
and
Andy Kaufman, thank you. Yeah. Somebody told me about Andy Kaufman, and I never liked him when I was growing up, because I didn't understand him. I was like, nah, this guy sucks.
okay,
But so recently, I've been watching him, and then I'm all like, oh, I've noticed a couple of things that he does, and I'll be like, okay, I understand that now. I
sure,
understand his level of, and then
it was
when watching it, that's when I'm understanding the different levels of comedy, and how you said it's like, how can you not support the craft, right? If
yeah,
you're a comedian.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, he was his own thing, so unique, and that's the other thing is when I talked about finding your voice, is you're trying to also carve out some kind of uniqueness, some unique quality to you. Could be your mannerisms, how you deliver jokes, your style, all of that. Just so people perceive it, and they're gonna ultimately say, "Oh yeah, he's fluffy." Think about fluffy. He's got like a brand almost. That's the word everybody uses now, brand, right? He's got the Hawaiian shirts, and he's a big guy, and he does the voices and stuff. And so that's the other part of it, is just developing that persona, but staying true to yourself. That's the key. I think that's it. You can do shtick, come up with a character. Like you got little hater.
Oh yeah, yeah. What's up with that
Yeah,
guy?
that's good stuff. But I could tell it's not something you just came up with yesterday. I bet you've been doing that character for quite some time now.
You know what?
Yeah.
Little
Or-
Hater's been around since maybe a year and a half now,
Okay.
and
But
and
what
it's
about when you were younger? Were you ever doing a similar type of character? Or?
well, Little Hater is kind of like, it's kind of like who I kind of was at one point in my life,
Sure.
that
Okay.
I'm no longer,
Yeah. There
you
you go.
know.
Yeah. There you
But
go. You see, you're drawing, you're tapping into something there. That's
there's the
like,
truth behind him for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because he got developed by as a goof.
hmm
He was never supposed to be anything. Um, he just like, I was doing like, I was making nachos, JR style nachos, right?
Okay.
Like my attempt at doing a nacho cooking episode, right?
hmm
And then what I did was, I said, I'm gonna make some nachos, and then Little Hater just came out, and he was just talking mess. He
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, you're fat. Don't eat those nachos. Give me some nachos, right?"
Yeah.
And then people watched it. They watched that episode, and people were calling me, "Hey, that was funny."
Sure.
And then I was like, "What?" And they're like, when that guy came out and he was talking mess to you, they're
Yeah.
like, "Do that." And then I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay." And then that's how he developed.
That's what it. You just made me think of something. It's like people, we if we're lucky, we have somebody in our life, like when we're growing up, who makes us laugh. Like a go-to, like, oh, my Theo. Every time I love going to visit my Theo, because every time he has jokes, right? and he's fun, and everybody likes to listen to him. And when you have that person, it's just a whole, it's like a diversion from everything else that's going on when you can just listen to that person. And sometimes we don't even have that person. So that's why a lot of people, you have stand-up comedians kind of fill that void. But that's, when you have that person to kind of inspire you like that, and just that's what we're all looking for. We need that one voice at least, or to kind of make us laugh, just make us feel like kids again. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? And it's sad because some of the funniest people that I know,
Yeah,
they're never gonna, the world's never gonna see them, because for the same reason. Like, I tell them, you're the funniest person to me,
yeah,
and I know you can make other people laugh,
yeah.
but they're never gonna do it. It's just, and it's like, wow, how does Felipe Esparza say it? It's like having superpowers, but you don't want to save nobody, right?
Yeah. I love Felipe. Yeah, he's definitely one of
me,
my favorites too.
me too. I'm not gonna lie. I send them I send them my videos in
Uh-huh.
hopes that he watches them, but he's never gonna watch them, man. It's like, he probably doesn't even manage his account, But yeah, I'm a big fan. It's, I could relate to him. He's
Hmm.
a really cool guy, man. I would love to one day be on his podcast and just kick it with him for a bit.
Is that coming through on your end?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. There you go. Is that better? No, right? It sounds still like crap. Yeah.
Sounds futuristic. Give me 1 second.
There we go. Technical difficulties. Can you hear me now? Yes? No?
Give me
There you
one
go.
sec. I'll be right back.
Sorry, guys. All right, guys. I don't know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, I don't know. Um, I think we had some difficulties either on my end or his end, but it tends to happen, man. We're not at the level where we need to be, but we're trying to get there, man. I wish we were at a real studio and stuff like that, but we're working on it, right? We're trying to get that subscriber base up. We're trying to get more people to subscribe to the channel, get more views, and then hopefully we could actually be in a Tacos and Workouts official studio. Right now I'm just in a little box. Can you guys hear me? Can I get a yes? Can I get a no? Let's see. Time to get off the Obama phones. That's right. It's time to get off those Obama phones. I could hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you
Yes?
hear me?
Yes?
I can't hear you.
No? Well, my viewers, my people could hear me. Burpee challenge. Hey, Love Machine, can you hear me? There you go. I'm sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Let's see what's going on this side. All right. Yeah, it's on your end.
On my phone.
Yeah.
Try my phone again.
Okay. It happens, guys. I'm sorry. Hey, of all things to happen, right? On a live show, talk about it being funny, but it happens. You know what? It happens to me all the time too. But yeah, guys. So this is Sancho Sanchez. I met him about a year and a half ago during the pandemic, and I went to a comedy show, and he hosts a whole bunch of comedy events. He does comedy. He writes comedy. It's kind of a thing that he does. and that's why I wanted you guys to get to meet him, because not only did you to give you the opportunity to subscribe to his channel, but to actually go out there and look at comedy live. So as we start to get out of this whole situation of lockdown. Hey, ¿qué pasó?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right.
It happens. So
It
what are we
might have
talking
been
about?
my end, but anyway.
It doesn't matter. It's free. It's free. It don't cost nobody nothing. They don't have to pay for tickets. It's cool. It's free. So what are we talking about? We were talking about comedians and Carlin and your
Yeah,
favorite comics and stuff, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's every comedian is different, like it's a style. Everybody brings something different to the table, and that's what the beauty of it too. There's so much variety. That's one of the reasons why I started producing shows,
Oh
is
yes, tell us
because
more about that.
yeah, because the familia didn't want to come see me, so I figured, well, if I get like 5 or 6 other comedians, they'll want to come and see them at least, right? And they'll tolerate me just as I host, and and now they showed up big time. They helped out a lot. That would definitely help them come see me more. But just that it helped me immensely, though. That's the thing that a lot of people didn't understand, was that it it helped me kind of like make contacts with a lot of cool comedians. Because sometimes you meet these comedians that you respect, that you kind of know, but like it's like, hey, you want to be my buddy? You just can't go up to him like that, right? I want to hang out. But if you come up to them and say, hey, I do a show, I could pay you, that's currency, suddenly, like, yeah, hey, you know what? But you make a contact, it's like, you make a contact, and it starts from there. Next thing you know, hey, they book you on their show. And then next thing you know, they're saying, hey, let's go up to Northern California on a trip. And those kinds of things have happened, just through that. It's all about contacts. That's the part of that a lot of comedians struggle with, is the business part of it, because you just can't, funny is one thing, but you got to like make the contacts. And
Yeah, most definitely the business side of it, and I take like the business side of it as being like responsible, and like, if you say you're gonna be at a certain gig, you show up to that gig.
yep.
It's like anything. I think so that some people don't cut it, because it's like, for example, if I hire somebody to, I don't know, wash my car, or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
then they said, I'll get to it later. And I'm like, no, I need you to wash it now because I got to go to work. And I'm like, nah, then it has to be some sort of professionalism. And some people don't have that. And it's kind of like a business, and reliability goes a long way. So it's like,
Hmm.
if you have 200 people sitting in an auditorium, and you hired somebody, he doesn't show up, it's like you're never going to make it in the business, because, no one's going to want to work with you, because you're going to have a room full of angry people.
Yep. Yeah, I think I heard it. It was in the sports world, but they said the best ability is reliability. Right. That's, if you don't have that, then everything else just kind of falls by the wayside.
For sure, man. So like, I think you were saying that about like different comics and stuff like that, and how like kind of you learned about different comics and stuff like that. Um, and I like to listen to a lot of podcasts and interviews and stuff.
Okay.
And I saw an interview um that Fluffy did. I forget where he did his interview.
Hmm.
He's done so many, right?
Yeah.
Um, that he said that he was posting his videos online, right? His
Hmm.
comedy, and at first it bothered him because people weren't crediting him or something to that effect.
Hmm.
Fluffy, if I get this wrong, just correct me. Not malicious intent, but I learned something from watching you. Um, so he said that at first it kind of bothered him,
Yeah.
but he went like kind of, he was known on YouTube before he was known like going out, because people
Sure.
would share his stuff. So then I started posting my content. Like, even though like my videos are out there, I have a couple where I'm doing videos, and somebody told me, hey, aren't you concerned as a comedian that someone's gonna steal your joke? And then I kind of said, well, if they do, I go, good. I'm
Yeah.
like, that means that it was worth stealing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so it shows me that I have something, but then it's like it shows that I have something, right?
Yeah.
So but some people are scared to put themselves out there, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, you want to be famous, but you don't want to put yourself out there? That doesn't make sense to me, you
No,
know?
it doesn't. It doesn't exactly. And the whole joke stealing thing. Oh God, yeah. It's overdone. It's overplayed. People are worried about it, and then they just repeat it because they heard somebody else say it. Oh yeah, joke stealing and all that. It exists. Okay, it does exist. However, there's also something called parallel thought. As an example, and in fact, I want to do this because someday I do want to teach comedy, and this is this is probably never get a more prime example. Comedians write the same jokes without stealing. It just happens. Look at the Chris Rock Will Smith thing. Did you see any memes and stuff that were exactly the same? I mean,
Oh
some people were
yes.
sharing, some people might have stolen and all that, but clearly I've seen people I know who don't do that come up with the same joke. I've seen a couple of mine where I came up with it and then they came up with the idea. I told somebody yesterday, hey, how about like a little video sketch of like almost like Cobra Kai, where a bunch of comedians are standing there and he's teaching them how to like defend themselves with a mic stand, you know? And then later that night, I see that video, like, oh, not that exact video, but just a guy with a gi, like doing kind of like going to train some comedian to defend himself. So it's just a parallel thought is all it is. And so you see this with this joke that the whole world is practically on, especially the United States. It's just all these creative minds going to attack it. And if you know how to write jokes and you know how to make associations and find the handles of jokes and associations, you're going to come up with similar jokes. And it's not joke stealing. It happens. I know guys who worked in late night. Okay. Like I know the guy who was once Letterman's head writer. Okay. I consider him a mentor. He told me that it would happen all the time because in late night, they deal with topical stuff that's just happened today, right? Something came out in the news. Nancy Pelosi said this, Donald Trump said that. And so you got Jimmy Kimmel's team. And in his case, it was Letterman's team and Leno's team writing at the same time and a couple other late night. And you'd see the same joke on both, it was almost the exact same joke, but it was just, they weren't stealing, they weren't sharing. It was just, they know how to write a joke, bring it down to its elements, and then derive funny from it. And sometimes you just overlap. That's what happens, Now, of course, there's joke stealing. Like if somebody says like a joke of like Sancho Sanchez of what it means and all that, I'd knock them out because like, come on, there's no way, it's my name. And but yeah, it's and I've seen joke stealing. I've seen videos of where the guy clearly stole a joke, but it's also, there's a lot of that. And it's just, even like you said, even if somebody does steal it, that means it's a good joke. So you can't stop them, but as long as you got your integrity and you did it, then people are gonna know who's the real deal is.
I would just keep on using it. Like
yeah,
I would just keep using it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm the best podcast in Long Beach, right?
Yeah.
I was the first one to come up with it and say it. And then people are like, no, I'm the best. I'm like, really? Then why didn't you say it? I beat you to it, buddy. But but I'm not saying it because just to like riff on anybody, right?
Yeah.
But because I honestly am the best podcast in Long Beach. I have comedy, I have podcasts, I have movie reviews, I have tacos, and I have workouts. It's a variety show, and there's no other podcast that does that. So it's like I am. So so I totally understand what you're saying when you say that, man.
Yeah.
Oh man! So how'd you come up with the name?
Well, my last name is Sanchez.
Okay.
And I had the nickname Sancho for years, bro. I mean, I don't know how it developed. It was part from Sanchez, maybe some things I did, and it was just, they used to call me that at the warehouse I worked at. My buddies called me that to this day. People at work, where I work in the office, they've called me that for 20 years, and it was just the name, So then when I decided to do stand-up, I thought, do I go up with my first name or do I? And I said, no, I just go Sancho Sanchez. And I read immediately my first open mics. People were like, that's a cool name. And I was like, oh yeah, definitely. That was just right there. People remember it.
That name is t-shirt worthy, bro.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah.
I have
We need.
ideas to come up with merch.
Yeah, no, I have a little hater shirt. Look, it's his
There you go.
little fat head right there. Um, yeah, but you should come up with Sancho Sanchez like as shirts and make it look like a superhero thing, and then
Yeah.
come up with yeah, dude. Let's like make some stickers, and then
Yeah, I have some ideas for that kind of stuff because it's like a signature joke. I get into it either early or somewhere in my set. I'll do it, and of course, like you're aware that you know what Sancho means, of course. But
yeah.
were you aware that my last name Sanchez literally translates to son of Sancho?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that makes me Sancho, son of Sancho. Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that.
I come from a long line of male homewreckers, bro.
I was gonna ask you. They call you Sancho because you're a lady. You're a lady killer, man. You know all the ladies right there. You know.
Oh yeah, I wish. Yeah.
Uh, 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 or it was either gonna be Sancho or it was gonna be Gonzalez, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, me dicen Gonzalez porque me meto cuando sales, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
that's a joke. Gonzalez, like he goes in. It's funny because somebody, dude, I used to work in a fabrica, right? A
Where?
factory, in a factory, just like pushing papers, right?
Yeah.
I've been pushing papers all my life, and dude, some of the most funniest people that I've come across were the paisas, man. Is like every single day in the factory, everybody was just like they would wake up, and we would wake up like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah.
then there was I forget his name. We used to call him Primo, right? It was
Yeah.
Hola Primo, right? And he was used to call everybody Primo, cousin, right? He would just f you up every day, start making you laugh, and it would just make the day go by so fast, man. Some of the funniest people, and he told me
Yeah.
that one. He told me, "Hey, hijo González," and I go, "Who's that?" He goes, "El que se mete cuando sales," and then all day, man. Some of the funniest people are
Yeah.
the
That's what I
paisas, the
was talking
Latinos.
about. See that person, you remember him, and you'll remember him forever just because he made you laugh. You know, some people
Yeah,
like that who have that. It's a gift. It's a gift. But when you're doing stand up or like what was we're doing it now, trying to get into it professionally, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Yeah, definitely a lot of hard work.
yeah, man. I wanna, so how does for those who don't understand comedy, because I'm still a greenhorn, like a very in the beginning. How does it work? You get like 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, or how does the structure work?
Well, in the beginning, you start with open mics, and usually open mics are anywhere from 3 to like 6 minutes. It depends on how well attended they are, how many people go. Um, the And there's different kinds of open mics. Sometimes they have features, which are like kind of like my level of just people who bounce around and get booked at shows. But you go to open mics and you're just basically trying to prove yourself. But there's two ways you're proving yourself. Well, maybe not proving yourself, but there's two avenues that you have to work on. Number one is you have to be funny. That's number one. Okay. Whether you're Chappelle down to your first open mic or be funny, that's rule number one for any comedian. You have to be funny. Okay. And there's a million ways of being funny. But the number two is then you need to develop relationships with people. Be a cool guy. You know what I mean? Meet people, hang out with people, show your face more often. Don't just be one of these guys who comes in every 6 months and then goes like, hey, why isn't nobody booking me? Like they don't know you, we think that like, in the beginning, I thought like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to get to a point where I'm funny and somebody's going to tap me on the shoulder and say, hey man, do my show, please. And even that, it doesn't work that way. You just got to ask. You got to ask people. And how do you ask and make it not awkward? Well, you got to know them. You know what I mean? Hang with them and just, then it's not awkward. Then at least you could like, hey, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll get you on, and sometimes they say that and blow you off, whatever. And other times, oh yeah, a couple months down the road, hey, you want to come on my show? And that's it. It's a little bar show in Rialto, but hey, you show up, you're happy, you don't get paid, but you're just like driving, 100-mile round trip for 5 minutes and you're happy. At least
Yeah,
you get in
man.
front of an audience. To me now, that's it. It's just all about like just who and hooking up with people. And like I said, when I did my show, that also helped too because it's just it's currency. People want to be on my show, and it's just cool. It's just it opens up another door to meet people that I otherwise may not have met. But like I said, I'm always trying to meet, at mics, just introduce myself. That's it, because you just never know where someone else is gonna go, and then they're like, hey, that guy, I remember his jokes, I like him. You're making fans. And then the third part is once you do start getting booked, is meet the people who are there. Say thank you for coming out. Thanks for coming out, supporting live comedy, just whatever. Meet them. Where are you from? You want to come? You want to follow me on Instagram? I'm doing another show near your area. Don't tell them, hey, I'm going to do a show tomorrow in North Hollywood, and you're in like Orange County. You know what I mean? And so you start to build up that list of people that you could contact and who, hey, I'm in your neck of the woods again. Message them. I do that now every show. Well, not every show, but some of my bigger, better shows, I'll contact 25 people that I just like, hey, here's a chance to see me again, and these other comedians. You should come down and see the headliner, Sebastian Satina is going to be there, Pablo Francisco, just excite them. That's it. That's it. So yeah, that's it. It's be funny, and then just be cool with comedians, and then build a fan. That's what it is. It's about building fans. That's what you're doing, JR. You're building fans, a fan base, and yours is like, you're talking to them through your podcast and such, and your videos, but you're talking to them, and it's just, that's how you keep in touch and build it. That's every comedian who's successful has fans. People think like, I'm going to get so funny, and then the fans are suddenly going to show up like that. No, that you start building them right away. There might be some guy who's also open micing with you, and he might be horrible, but he's like, he laughs every joke that you make, and like, be nice to that guy. He could be your fan. He'll be a lifelong fan of yours if he thinks you're funny. He may not be doing comedy in 3 years, but you will, and that's how it starts. Starts now. It starts now. You can't just wait, waiting for people to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, come to the improv." It's time to go. No, you got to be out there. You got to be out there, part of the community. It's a community. One of the things I'm proud of is that I've done is that I'm getting known in different parts, and I'm not the only one who does this. But you'll be surprised at how, in my opinion, it's a small select group who really gets around, from the IE. Now I just made a contacts with like up in the valley a little bit, and it just, it flows from there, just, go down to San Diego, all over. You just, wherever you go, just try to meet as many people as you can. It starts now, building fans and friends.
Yeah, that's well said, man. So, man, it's my friend Tony Ortiz.
Yeah.
He told you. Oh, you met him. We all know each other.
I hang out with him sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're I know a whole bunch of comedians, but I'm not out there yet. So I'm gonna be coming out pretty soon. So you could laugh at me.
Banner for you.
Yeah, you could laugh at me. Not laugh at my jokes, but just laugh at me. Like, I look at this pendejo, right?
Yeah.
He's doing his thing. But he told me that the elements of writing a joke, and he said there's like 3 parts to writing a joke. So it's hard, people. It's hard. Like, honestly, if you guys, like to laugh and like to, whatever, just know that these guys are out there day in and day out trying to make you feel good, man. So we have to like support them and do everything possible, man, to show gratitude. Anything else that you want to like tell the audience before we go ahead and take off? I mean, you want to drop all your info?
Just I guess just let's see. Just come out, support comedy. We need to laugh nowadays, more than ever. I hear that a lot. And, I guess I'm a big fan of comedy, obviously. And the thing that I'm always trying to do is promote comedy in all shapes, particularly live comedy. That's it. Because it's easy to sit home. Because I remember when I was young and I'd watch comedy, on HBO special or late night and all this. But there's nothing, if you think I like these guys because I've seen them on TV. When you see your favorite comedian live, it's a totally different experience. Nothing like you will ever. They sound different. You're in the moment, and sit close. Don't be one of these cowards who sits in the back. I don't mean you don't need to sit in the front row. Okay, if you don't want to get riffed on, I understand that. But try to sit close, because comedy is it's a connection. It's a connection. That's why every comedian, I don't care what level they're on, will tell you that some nights it's just they connect with the crowds, and some nights they don't, because every audience is different. Even I just read somebody posted that they did the same show 2 hours apart, and the first show was like people were dead flat, nobody was laughing that much, and then the second one same jokes, and everybody was cracking up, so there's a lot of factors. So support live comedy, come out, and just you go to a movie is sometimes bad. How many movies you go to that, oh gee, that movie sucked? Come to live comedy instead, man. Give it if there's nothing out there you want to see, same amount of time, probably even less money. That's all I can say, man. Comedy. As Martin Norman says, comedy.
Yeah, man. So this is our good friend Sancho Sanchez, and you know what, guys, do me a huge favor, like follow him on Instagram, right? What's your Instagram? Sancho
Sancho
Sanchez
Comedy, man.
Comedy. All right, so
Sancho
follow him
Comedy.
there.
Yep.
Follow him, and you know what? But more importantly, go out and see him. Go support him, man. He not only is he a comic, but he also puts on shows locally in Long Beach. And the best way to find out where he's gonna be is by following him, man. You know what? And as we start going out more and more and more, this is the perfect time for you to go get that laughter, that medicine we talked about. And
Yep.
Sancho Sanchez, he's working hard at bringing you that funny comedy and putting some great shows, man. So he's here to entertain you. He gets it. He understands comedy. So do me a huge favor, everybody. Support this guy. He's one awesome dude, man.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Thanks, JR.
Yeah,
Thanks, everybody.
anytime, man. Whenever you need to promote anything, or you just want to, just if you just want to come on and just shoot the shit, just come on and we'll do
Okay.
that, man. Anytime you
Got
want,
it.
man. All right, this is your house, and this is everybody's house, the Tacos and Workouts channel. All right, thank you, everybody, and I'll see you guys soon.